They support everything we do, and also they run some of their courses here as well, which is very helpful to us because we have to try and keep the thing up and running and keep the, as I just say, keep the lights on. And Fergus often mentions to me about programs as well, those transnationals, all that kind of stuff. But the leader partnership is very important because it looks after a lot of the smaller groups and into the communities, the rural areas. So there's no better man to tell you about it. Okay, so Fergus Horgan.
I'll co-present with my colleague Angela. So we work with Kilkenny Leader Partnership, and that's a development agency for the whole county, not just the city, the regional area. And we work on a number of different programs now. So basically our role is to support community life and community development in Kilkenny, and we do that by working with smaller groups and then larger groups and projects, and we have strong focus on social inclusion and disadvantaged groups. These are groups that need the extra support, and so that's our remit. We're
so jealous that you're all going to the seaside tomorrow, because one of my favourite things to do is to swim in the sea, and even in winter. So don't try it because you'll probably die with the cold. Okay, so with Leader, we work both in the city and out in the county, and it's very much given the communities and the people that we work with autonomy over what they want to do themselves. So we work from the bottom up, and that's really, really important because we have a wide variety of people in our communities now. They're changing all the time. Like, you know, there's Ukrainian people going to the local rural schools and in the towns, and we really want to include them as a part of the Leader programme. So we are given money from the EU, and as I said, that's a bottoms up approach where they take ownership of their project. So any idea that they have, they come to us, and it has to fit in with a certain type of measures that they want to spend the money on. But we go out into the community and we try to include everybody. So we'd go into the smallest community or the biggest community, and we'd have road shows, and we'd really listen to what the people want. Which one to go to next, Fergus?
Yeah,
okay. So there's different themes. Each the program rolls over every 5 years, and or 4 years actually, is it first? I'm not sure, 4 or 5. And there's different themes that we have to spend the money on. So this for this programme, there's economic development and job creation, because if we have new people coming to our communities or people living in rural Ireland, we want to make sure that they have the opportunity to have employment. So we often support social enterprise. So I'll give you an example. Like, we noticed that in a lot of rural areas there was no community shops. So if you don't have somewhere to get milk or bread, you know, it makes living much more difficult. So we set about trying to get people to take ownership of their community, and we supported them with finance and mentoring in order for them to set up a community shop. We currently have 4 of them spread out around the county, and okay, so now social inclusion.
Okay, so the other programme I said we run, the Leader is an EU funded programme, so this is Irish government funded. There's a teeny bit maybe from the European Union, but to do with young people, but in general it's Irish government. So the reporting systems and all that are different. Leader is very administrative burden is very high. It's very difficult for community groups to go through all the different steps and stages to get their funding. CICAP in general, it's smaller funding, but it's easier to get for individuals and for community groups. And it's all about promoting social inclusion, promoting diversity, promoting supporting people who need to get a job. And we have different kind of categories that we do our work through. And this is just a list of all the kind of target groups that we have. So And this comes from the government. They say you need to work with these groups. So they're like disadvantaged children and families, and there's people living in more disadvantaged areas, young people 15 to 24, particularly what we call NEETs, which is not an employment or education or training. So we're trying to get them to, and people, maybe young people who are at risk of leaving school early, just to work with them and to find a solution for them. How we do that is we kind of work with, we do.
And again, the rivers in Kilkenny are an asset for your community, and it's a great way to get people to mix together, because you can have new communities, you can have old communities, and the river can be the catalyst to them joining together. So we have invested a lot of money in training programs to get people to go out and look at their rivers, look at the beautiful biodiversity that's on it, to use it for swimming, photography. And as I said, it addresses a lot of issues, because you can bring people together and get them to respect the river. And we've lots of further plans to develop them. And as I said, since COVID came in Ireland, there is just a huge interest in people swimming in that very, very cold water, and it just gives you a great buzz. So we're behind that.
Ale nie za bardzo masz się jak przyciskać. Dosłownie wyjść na wieżę samo, otwór jest wielkości krzesła, nie? Przyciska.
That will, they're in Poland, they're in Romania, and I think they're in Italy too, because we looked at it before, and they will actually do, they call them transnational cooperations. And say if you came up with a plan to do something, and it can be an extensive, not a week transition, or not a week visit, or not a small term project, but longer. And as I say, they're very good to us. Okay, as you probably know, we are fully a volunteer group. Nobody takes